In a digital age, every single day you have a new acronym thrown at you, like OG, Original Gangster, and then you have SMH, which is shaking my head. And it's easy to crack these ones, right? You Google it and then you have the answer. But in cryptocurrency world, acronyms can get a bit too technical and you have to dive deep into those. Today's acronym, DeFi. I'm Arun Singh, a very warm welcome. This show is called Coffee and Crypto and we have packed this entire episode with DeFi. We will be decoding DeFi. Let's begin with our explainer and go to our coffee wall for this. So what is DeFi? For starters, it stands for decentralized finance. Now imagine if you had to take a loan from bank today, you have to have an asset to present as a collateral, right? Then it is on the bank, which is a central authority in this case, to provide you with that loan or not. Now bank is in the middle of the process and it controls the process. DeFi comes in and disrupts this system. So how it works? If you want a loan, you get one instantly by simply putting cryptocurrency up as a collateral. And in some cases, you don't even need to give something as collateral. Now this creates a smart contract that finds your money from other people who've made a pool of funds available on the blockchain. So DeFi is a system that helps you use financial products on public blockchain networks in a decentralized way, which means not regulated by any intermediary. Now in financial products, it's not only loans, but savings, trading, and even insurance. There are multiple financial products involved here in DeFi. Now most DeFi systems are built on Ethereum, but there are now several other public blockchain networks like Solana, Terra, Avalanche, and of course the India-based Polygon, on which these financial applications are built. So basics are clear, but how does this really function? How is DeFi really executed? So essentially it has two tools, dApps and smart contract. Remember I was talking about some cool acronyms, so dApps is one of those. Now dApps stand for Decentralized App. These are the applications built on the public blockchain on which all these financial functions are carried out. And the essence of this app is clear, Decentralized apps, dApps. Then you have smart contract, which is another tool. Now this is how all the transactions get executed automatically, without the middleman that we spoke of. These are essentially code-based contracts that contain the terms of agreement between the lender and the borrower. Now, words used to describe DeFi seem to be the same words that are used for cryptocurrency, which is decentralized, right? There is no intermediary. Then they are global, no regulatory authority, peer-to-peer. So what's the difference here? The number one difference is programmable. Well, Bitcoin was in a way the first DeFi application, but blockchains like Ethereum build on this. It's not just digital money, it's programmable. So you can go beyond only storing and sending the value. And I think this is the best. I mean, if you have to explain it in a better way, then you can do it in words of Camila Russo, the founder of a crypto news service, that Bitcoin wanted to be peer-to-peer money, whereas Ethereum wanted to be peer-to-peer everything. So that's essentially the difference there. Now we've understood what DeFi is, but what all can you really do with DeFi? First is send and stream money around the globe. You do transaction, send someone their salary by the second, giving them access to their money whenever they need it. Hence we use the term streaming money, how you stream videos as well. Now borrow funds with and without collateral. You can also borrow funds via flash loans, although that gets a bit too technical, so we won't go there for now. Also, it is yet experimental form of decentralized lending, but flash loans is also an interesting aspect of this new stream which we are talking about, DeFi. Now you can earn interest on your crypto by lending it and see your funds grow in real time and save huge. And then moving ahead, you can buy insurance. There are insurance dApps like Nexus Mutual, Etherisk that provide insurance the decentralized way. That was an explainer, a quick and a brief one about DeFi. But now let's go to our experts to understand the risks and rewards of DeFi. We have with us Rohas Nagpal, who's Chief Blockchain Architect of Wrapped Asset Project, and Ritham Gupta, CEO of DeFi 11. Now we'll understand the immediate rewards first. Ritham, I want to come to you first. What are the immediate rewards, or let's say advantages, you see of DeFi?
Yes, Arun. So I'll say everything is immediate over here in DeFi. So when we switch to the decentralized finance from the conventional financial systems, everything becomes, first of all, quick compared to the conventional systems, and second of all, decentralized without the control or without the monopoly of any central authority.
Right.
In terms of rewards, or I'll say the immediate getaways that we can take away from DeFi, is that you can do any possible financial operation within the blink of an eye, I'll say, or within few seconds, depending upon which platform are you working on or whatsoever. That's, I mean, not going into the technicalities, but then anything. Let's say you want to get a loan. Let's say you want to lend something, borrow something, to do a quick transaction between your friends.
Sure.
Everything is just quick and easy.
Okay, so speed is, I think, the biggest reward pointed out by you. And I also want to quickly go to Rohas here. What is the immediate reward you see here in DeFi, Rohas?
Sure. So I think one of the best is that as an individual, you have total control over your funds. Your private key has to be used to move your money anywhere. But in the conventional world, that is not the case. Our money is lying in private databases of banks and other institutes, because of which when it needs to move, there is an element of cost and friction and time to it. But in DeFi, it's quick. You control it, so it's very decentralized. Your private key is needed for that to move. Manual processes are absolutely reduced. So I would say those are some of the best advantages.
Right. So we're discussing finance here, right? Which in a way we are discussing money, and money comes with its risks as well. Now let's move on to the risk part of it. And experts point out there are many risks as well involved in this stream, which we call DeFi. So Ritham, first to you, what is the immediate risk you see or witness?
I'll say lack of awareness is the biggest risk and can be a big point in getting the entire system collapsing. People not being aware, not realizing that money is being involved or how the cons can come in. They have to, first of all, get some education involved, understand that what they are dealing with, and make sure that they don't lose out on any of the financial matters or the actual money being involved over there. So lack of awareness is one of the risks, and I'll say that can lead to loss of a lot of funds. That can be one of the biggest things, I'll say.
So do your thorough research, and of course you have a show like this which is called Coffee and Crypto, where you get all the explainers and also information as well. Now Rohas, I remember we spoke about this briefly before the show. I want you to dive deep into the risk factors here involved in DeFi.
Sure. So one of the major ones could be you need to be quite tech savvy to use this. So when we use our normal bank accounts, we have a mobile app. Suppose we delete that app, nothing happens. We can just reinstall the app because the bank is a third-party intermediary actually holding your money. But if you end up deleting your crypto wallets without having backed up the key, your money is gone forever. And I'm a classic example of that. I told you many years ago, I deleted a lot of my Bitcoins because I never thought they would become valuable. But unfortunately, there is no way for me to recover them anymore. And for an ordinary person, that can be quite difficult, managing so many addresses along with the private keys, the seed phrases. So I would say the biggest problem, and that is standing in the way of the growth of crypto as a whole and DeFi in particular, is this level of tech savviness and the risk of losing your keys. I would say that's the number one problem.
I mean, of course, everybody swear by blockchain when it comes to security, but then, there can be scams. There can be some platforms which can portray themselves as authentic, but they can actually con you in a way that you lose all your money. So that's the biggest risk here. But now, Ritham, of course, if we talk about a situation about loan here, when you go take a loan via bank has a way to trace you back. But if I'm lending my money on blockchain, how do I trace it? I mean, if I was to lose all that money, where do I go?
That's one of the other problems that I would say is there. However, people are trying solving that, but that's an inherent property of blockchain. That's called pseudo-anonymity. You get an anonymous status, but with, I'll say, a pseudo tag wherein you can be traced by the address that you are holding, but no one knows who you are. So that's the major problem that people have been trying solving since years, and that's where the government is also afraid of. All the talks about regulations, bans, and all the thing that has been coming into picture just because this pseudo anonymity needs to be worked upon. So that is where I guess we cannot really go to anyone in particular to trace who that individual is. We can trace, however, where that came from. This address made how many transactions, and where the funds came to this address, which addresses had funds from this address, but then you cannot really trace the individual. One thing that can be done, and that's kind of like a balanced regulation coming in, would be KYC, mapping your identity with that address so that the pseudo anonymity can be reduced a bit more towards centralization, but then eventually solving some of the major problems.
Okay, Rohas, if a legislation was to come, as of course we know, we as a country are in a process of bringing regulation or legislation linked to cryptocurrency at the moment. But if a legislation was to come, do you think DeFi would come up with a lot of rewards and it can be regulated? How, we talk about regular cryptocurrency.
Sure. So I always prefer not to use the word cryptocurrency, but to use the word crypto asset, because there are 11 categories of cryptos, some of which are medium of exchange, let's say like a Bitcoin, but then you also have NFTs, which are completely different in nature. So I'm hoping that when the government does come out with this legislation, it would be functional, which means we would not try to regulate all cryptos as the same, but we would try to regulate each category of crypto depending upon what it does. So some may come under the purview of the securities regulator because they are security tokens. Some may come under the Reserve Bank because they are trying to do something which is relating to the money system. So I hope that the regulation is functional, depending upon what the crypto does, rather than being generic based on the fact that all of them are running on a blockchain. So that's my hope.
Sure. Thank you so very much, both of us, for joining us for this conversation. This was, of course, risk and rewards of DeFi. But now we'll move on to the next aspect of Fi, which is GameFi. Now, this is another way to earn money the gaming way. So we have an explainer for this as well. If you are into gaming, then of course you learn a lot of things here from this explainer as well. So what is GameFi is what we will begin with. So it's combination of video games and decentralized finance. In traditional video games, users pay to play an online game in order to earn rewards. But on the other hand, on blockchain video games, they are rewarded for their time and effort. But how do GameFi games work? Well, it's a diverse field. Many of the most popular blockchain games today use a combination of the few features to monetize the action. One, play to earn. In some blockchain games, players receive financial rewards for completing gameplay objectives. The funds awarded in these play to earn titles typically originate from a reserve of native tokens held within a smart contract. Second, asset ownership. Digital ownership of unique assets creates economic opportunities that were not possible before. For example, Axie Infinity. This is a GameFi platform. Players can breed two creatures represented by NFTs to create a third creature. So, that's how you can multiply your assets as well. Then, of course, in the end, we have DeFi features. Some GameFi projects introduce concepts from the DeFi sector to reward gamers. So we had Rhythm in our previous conversation. I would request him to come back for this conversation as well, where now I want to understand if someone is a regular gamer, how can they get started in blockchain gaming?
Yeah, I guess the explainer that you just shared, so it basically covers everything about GameFi. That gaming is such a huge market, and even if I say a couple of years back, no one realized that the use of blockchain can be introduced in gaming and will come out with GameFi. So the entire dynamics or the economics of gaming is entirely in its whole known as GameFi. And how the users are rewarded or how users can start with GameFi is basically just to make sure, first of all, I'll say the same thing, that first of all, do your own research, do a good, be aware of what you are doing. Sure. And then start to, any of the games. There are like hundreds of projects coming in that are bringing play to earn models to the existing games that we had. Let's say CSGO, or let's say GTA Vice City, and all the other games that we used to play in our childhood.
Sure.
All of these new projects are taking in these games, binding them with blockchain concepts and having a play to earn concept over there. So the more you play, the more you are rewarded for your skills.
Right, Rhythm, what I wanted to understand from you is, let's say I am a regular gamer, I do, I go for tournaments as well. What do I do? What steps do I really need to take to access the world of GameFi? Let's begin with, having a wallet, something as basic as that. So if you can just point out a few things for those who are into gaming to enter into the world of GameFi.
Okay, yeah. So the most basic one would be to have a wallet, but then that totally depends upon what platform are you going on. If you are going on with Axie Infinity, let's say that's one of the GameFi platform, you have to make sure that you have a wallet, you have private key to that and access to that wallet, and you land on that platform and start to play. That's it. All you need to worry about is your game rather than what concepts are coming in, what a transaction is, so on and so forth. That are like minor details, but then you just need to have the wallet in place and obviously the gaming skills. Apart from that, there can be multiple more platforms that are kind of simplifying this structure for you, wherein you on the front end, or you as a gamer on your mobile, you won't realize that there's a blockchain running at the back end. You'll just play the game as it is, and just as the in-game credits that we used to have in like various different games earlier, you get to have all these credits that can be encashed later. So depends upon which platform you are going, but then most of the platforms, I'll say, you have to have some basic knowledge of how the wallet is operated so that you don't really end up losing the money that you have been earning. And secondly, basics of what blockchain is. I mean, blockchain concept.
So I think... Sure. So to sum it up, I think you have to marry your skills, which are gaming skills, and then your knowledge of crypto, and that's how you become a GameFi champion. Thank you so very much, Rhythm, for joining us for this conversation. And now it's time for us to move on to our next segment, which we're calling MCQs, My Crypto Queries. So I put up a story on Instagram asking all of you or my followers about if they have any questions about DeFi. So we have an expert, Srijan Bhardwaj. He's a serial entrepreneur. He also invests in crypto, and he has also co-founded Digital Dukandar, which is a very interesting platform. So we have some questions. There is number one question which has come on Instagram. This is, how do we open a DeFi account? Very simple and basic.
Yeah. So the best way to open a DeFi account is that you can go to Anchor Protocol or you can go to crypto.com. And opening a DeFi account is very simple. It hardly takes you 5 minutes if you have a wallet. Most of the DeFi protocols don't need a KYC, so you don't have to wait in queue. And you can just go there, connect your wallet. And the most important thing to understand is that at every point where you connect a wallet with a DeFi application, you have to understand that you are giving access to that application that they can read and write on your mobile wallet, or they can read and write in the mobile wallet that you are having cryptocurrency. So this is the fastest way. And again, just educating everyone around the risk, because people don't understand that it's like a bank. But at the end of the day, when you are putting your money in a bank, there is a level of security there. In DeFi, there is not a high level of security. Yeah.
Sure. Let's move on to the next question from Shikhar Srivastava. As a software developer, how can I get into DeFi is what the question is.
So the best way for any software developer is to understand how Ethereum is built and start building on the top of Ethereum, because DeFi at its core has decentralized exchanges where most of the transactions happen, and most of the platforms, like you were talking about dApps earlier, are dApps. So Ethereum has a huge, fantastic community of developers who are building everything together in a decentralized fashion, of course. So the best way is go start building on Ethereum, connect with the like-minded people there, build something on testnet first. Once you have done at least 100 iterations on testnet, then you can think about making it live on the mainnet.
Okay, we've also got a video query from Hamza Khan. Have a look.
So users and owners of these DeFi protocols will be able to vote for the suggested changes to these projects through a DAO community, a decentralized autonomous organization. So can we know more about this DAO community?
Wow, very interesting question. And I also have a story linked to it, which is, how I realized that this was a term was I noticed there are a lot of crypto companies which have DAO in their name. And I was like, okay, I have to look for it. What is it? And that's how I started about DAO. But that's a question for you, Srijan.
Yeah, so this is a very interesting question. And the whole idea of DAO is that we are giving people the power to bring together the changes that they want to. And it's democracy at its best. So for example, say today I have a cryptocurrency, I have a DeFi product, and I have put a DAO in there that if out of all the members, 60% people say yes, they vote for a yes around they want a feature or if they want a change to be incorporated, the change will be incorporated. So when you hold a cryptocurrency, when you stake a cryptocurrency, you get access to that DAO. You can go and you can vote, and the users become like active management of the product. So it's like the users are now also becoming the team members. And that is why community comes into DAO. They want the changes, they agree, they disagree. And then the community runs the whole product. So this is where DAO comes in.
Okay, thank you so very much, Srijan, for all these answers. With this, we've come to an end of this segment, but the show is not over yet. We're taking a very short break, but after the break, we have My Crypto Story, where one investor shared their story. So don't go anywhere. Keep watching Coffee and Crypto. Watching Coffee and Crypto, I'm Arun Singh, and now we have a segment called My Crypto Story. Joins us a crypto investor, Ankita Mehra. Very warm welcome. We want to know your story. How did you start into this world of cryptocurrency?
Thank you so much. So I still remember I started my crypto journey in 2020, where I was very confused how to actually invest. And my brother-in-law actually helped me to set up the account on CoinSwitch. I was not even aware that the crypto investment can start in 2 minutes only. Like you just have to add your basic details. And from that day, I did not look back. And from that day, I still remember I did my first investment in Bitcoin, and I don't have any regrets. And I'm very, very happy to be a crypto investor.
Okay, we are running short on time, but thank you so very much, Ankita. It was great talking to you. But with this, we've come to an end of this show. This is Coffee and Crypto. I'm Arun Singh. It's goodbye from my side.